morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we need to be taking a look at Morpeko. And we've actually got a couple different Morpeko. So it's time to have a look at both the Morpeko in one lovely little video. Of course, we've already had a look at Morpeko because Morpeko V and V Maxes form the basis of one of the very best decks in the Pokemon trading card game at the moment. I will link in the description to both the analysis video for Morpeko V and the video where we look at the deck. So Morpeko V and Morpeko V Max are confirmed as one of the best decks in the format. Time to have a look at the other Morpeko. So let's have a gander, shall we? Now, we actually have two as it stands. We've got one which is coming out as a promo in our free pack blisters, and we don't actually know where that one's coming from at the moment. And then we've got the one that came out in the Lightning V deck over in Japan. Weirdly, the only Morpeko in the set proper was the Morpeko V. So we'll start off with the one which is going to be a promo. We got a nice English scan, no translation needed. We've got phenomenal artwork, but arguably not the best card. Now, 80 HP is very, very low, but not actually low enough to use Professor Round's lecture, so that's a little bit upsetting. We do like the retreat cost of 1. Giving us the option to use stuff like U-turn board. The weakness to fighting is largely irrelevant because you've got 80 HP. I mean, okay, something like a Boswell with Diancie Prism Star, or to be fair, like most fighting stuff with Diancie Prism Star will get you, but you got 80 HP. And to be fair, being a lightning Pokemon is great right now. You're going to be hitting weakness on all those water Pokemon, like Lapras V Max, for instance, which is pretty gosh darned cool. And you've just got all of the tricks at the moment. You've got Thunder Mountain to reduce your attack cost. You've got Tapu Koko to reduce your attack cost. You've got Electro Power to do some extra damage. There is an awful lot to like about being a lightning Pokemon right now. But what does it do? Well, 1 lightning, 2 colorless energy, 60 damage, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. And here's the thing. This is actually a really good attack for a really horrible cost. You see, flip a coin if heads, a defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. We've seen this over and over again. I mean, in the time that I've been playing, it really came to a head with Dynamo in electric decks, whereby you would just have yourself a 75% chance of paralysis. Victini let you reflip if you hit a Tails. And just buy yourself some turn to get electric onto the field. Well, we don't have that right now, unfortunately. So it is a 50% shot. But you're doing 60 damage. Dynamo was good just for the paralysis. That did 10 damage. 60 damage plus paralysis is great. Bearing in mind you've always got the option of using Electro Power to boost that damage up a little bit. And if your opponent isn't able to draw into something like a Mallow and Lana, which they might not be playing, they're going to find it difficult to get out the active. Gone are the days when everybody just played multiple Ace Roller and Guzma in every deck. Now, to be fair, there is still a skateboard which does let you retreat when you're paralyzed. But not everyone's playing a skateboard. I mean, Jirachi players will be, but most other people aren't playing a skateboard. So you're probably going to get away with it. It's just too expensive. I mean, 60 damage, right? That will take out your lightning weak Pokemon. Things like Zapdos, for instance, because flying Pokemon tend to be weak to water, that's going. Evolving Pokemon like Inkay or Ditto, they're all going down. This will get a surprising amount of KOs while also paralyzing anyone that doesn't get KO'd, if you can flip a heads. It's a really nice attack. And don't get me wrong, we can pay the attack. You can use Thunder Mountain Prism Star, you can use Tapu Koko. If you're behind on prizes, you can actually use Counter Gain here and pay the attack cost without using your attachment for the turn. But then again, you can do that to get Pokemon like Tapu Koko V up and rolling. Not Counter Gain, but the others. And if I'm going to be getting free energy on a Pokemon, I'm probably going to be prioritizing Tapu Koko V over something like Morpeko. It's a good attack to buy yourself some time. It's a decent amount of damage, and I like it as a Pokemon. And I'm really falling in love. I don't know what happened there. I am really falling in love with Morpeko. He is quickly becoming one of my favourite Gen 8 Pokemon. I just don't know how much I'll use this card. Now, as a side note, if we still had Electric, and you could get this up really reliably and really often, I might be changing my mind. But the other Morpeko is even better. Now, we do need a translation here. Our translation comes from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. And there is an extra 10 HP. You've gone from 80 to 90, which is nice. Other than that, the basics are all the same. And we've got one attack here, one lightning energy, 10 damage. Boo. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack does 50 more damage, 60 in total. Oh, yeah, that ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. 60 damage for a single energy on a basic single prize Pokemon. This is nice. I mean, I may have once or twice have mentioned my boy Donphan, who did 60 damage for a single energy and actually did 10 to all of your bench at the same time. 60 for a single energy is good. And this is really here to just pick on small or evolving Pokemon. So what you need to do is drop a little bit of damage, and then you hit for 60 for a single energy. But they've already got a bit of damage on. So if you come across something like an Eviltal, for instance, yeah, that's going down pretty quickly. Even in some of these fighting Pokemon that end up of 130 HP. Because you've got to drop a damage counter to do the 60, 60 doubled is 120, and you've had to put 1 damage on, so they will go down, like, for instance, the Eviltal from Unified Minds that I popped up on the screen there. And there are ways to spread damage around. If you're against EX and GX decks, you can drop a Shrine of Punishment, drop 1 damage counter on each Pokemon EX and GX between turns, then you're hitting 60 for a single energy. Don't forget that we've got the combination of Roxy and Wheezing, although Coughing does exactly the same thing as Wheezing, whereby Roxy lets you discard up to 2 Pokemon from your hand, draw 3 cards for each one discarded, and Coughing or Wheezing when discarded lets you do 1 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. And while we're talking Wheezing, how about the Wheezing from Unbroken Bonds, whereby if it's in the active, you put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon between turns. Or maybe you want to keep things more specific to Gen 8. How about Galarian Zigzagoon? Same ability as Crobat G. Drop 1 damage counter when you bench it. Or how about Obstagoon, who's got the same ability as Crobat, not G, whereby when you evolve into it, you drop 3 damage counters. We've actually got a lot of nice ways lately to drop damage counters outside of regular attacks. I mean, to be fair, you can also use Volcarona GX if you so wish, whereby you can discard a fire energy from your hand and drop 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then you're hitting 60 for a single energy. And I am not in any way, shape or form suggesting that you play a quad Morpeko deck where the entire goal of the deck is to spread a bit of damage around and then just hit with Morpeko every turn. But I am saying that if you want a Pokemon that hits a decent amount of damage on lightning weak Pokemon, and you're going to be playing something like that new Aurora energy card, discard a card from your hand and then it's any kind of energy, you got to discard a card to attach it, and when it's attached, it's basically rainbow energy, but instead of taking a damage counter, you discard a card from your hand. There we go. And if you're playing Aurora energy, this comes in as a basic Pokemon single energy, 60 damage, and then you double it for weakness. Or if you're playing some kind of spreading deck, this comes in. Or if you've got a deck which is primarily 2 and 3 prize Pokemon, and you just want something little to take a prize here and there, Morpeko's got your back. I don't think this is going to be at the centre of decks like Morpeko V is, but I absolutely believe that this is going to see a little bit of play and is going to be teched into a couple decks here and there. I think it's pretty gosh darned good. In terms of Wassy scores, let's give the promo between 2 and 3 Wassies. Kind of fun, but too expensive at the moment with the options that we've got for energy acceleration. And let's give the one from the V-Dex 3 Wassies, because it's a nice little tech. It's a kind of Pokemon you need a couple copies of in your binder, and that is my definition of a free Wassy card. But I'd like to know what you think about him. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have any Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.